Welcome to Television Sydney News. I'm Bianca Martins. It's great to have you with us. In this week's bulletin, a candle sparks a major house fire and leaves a family homeless. A bid to crack down on councillor junkets is rejected, and a spring racing carnival with a difference in Dural. But first, new roads took priority over rail and dedicated public transport corridors for Sydney in the long-awaited report from Infrastructure New South Wales handed down this week. The report focuses predominantly on global Sydney, linking North Sydney, the CBD, the inner west and eastern suburbs with a light rail network and dedicated bus corridor ahead of Western Sydney. The state government immediately supported a new tollway recommended by the report. Premier Barry O'Farrell said his government would provide $1.8 billion for the proposed West Connects motorway, which would widen the M4 from Parramatta and run underneath Parramatta Road to connect to the airport and another M5 East tunnel. But another $7.5 billion would need to come from tolls along the 33-kilometre motorway from Parramatta to the city and onto the M5. University of Western Sydney Urban Research Centre Director Philip O'Neill says the plan is too focused on ferrying Western Sydney residents into the city rather than linking parts of the west. He says the strategy will not provide support for employment creation in Western Sydney, where the bulk of jobs growth is forecast. The report also did not support a Western Sydney light rail link proposed by Parramatta Council. The link would have connected various parts of Western Sydney, including Westmead Hospital, the University of Western Sydney campuses, major Western Sydney CBDs and business parks. But Infrastructure New South Wales says better connections between Sydney's west and global Sydney are more important to reduce congestion on roads and increase productivity. The flame from a small tea light candle destroyed a Miranda house in 5 minutes last week. Homeowner Lisa Mulligan's family has been left homeless by the blaze, escaping only with the clothes they were wearing. Her 14-year-old daughter, Sammy Brown, had gone to check on her grandmother and left a candle burning in her room for just 2 minutes, returning to find the room filled with smoke. Sammy helped her grandmother, who has mobility problems, get out of the house. Camden Council has rejected a bid to crack down on councillors' junkets. Ratepayers will foot the bill for councillors to attend the annual Local Government Association conference in Dubbo later this month after a bid by Liberal Lara Simkoviak for representatives to cover their own costs failed. The council's 5 Liberal representatives have campaigned against junkets, but the motion was lost after one failed to attend the first meeting of the new council. A motion to overturn the decision will be considered at next Tuesday's council meeting. Bringelly residents say they feel let down by a state government decision that could turn their backyards into multi-denominational cemeteries. Liverpool Council's resolution to remove cemeteries as permissible uses in rural areas has been rejected by the Planning Department because diminishing burial space is a Sydney-wide problem. 4 cemeteries have been proposed in the area, 2 of which have been improved, including one providing 60,000 burial plots. Greendale Road residents say their area can't handle more traffic and have raised concerns about runoff into dams and soil. Newly elected Holroyd Mayor Ross Grove has suggested services including libraries and administration be merged with Parramatta Council to save money. Councillor Grove was responding to a development industry report stating Sydney's 43 local government areas needed to be streamlined. He says shared services are a good idea for libraries, but any plan to amalgamate councils should be put to a referendum. The University of Western Sydney has opened a centre of expertise in sustainable development, recognised by the United Nations. Ryan McClenahan reports.
The Hawkesbury campus's new regional centre of expertise is one of 101 around the world promoting sustainability in local communities. The centre, opened by Climate Change Minister Greg Combet, will focus on the Greater Western Sydney region.
The RCA is a tremendously important initiative, I think, by the University of Western Sydney, and to have 24 local partners involved in a sustainability exercise and educating people about sustainability is a great thing, and it's really good for Western Sydney.
The university's Executive Director of Sustainability, Professor Jeff Scott, says the region faces many challenges in terms of sustainability.
80% of our residents drive to work. We have more Indigenous residents than South Australia or Victoria. We have people from 170 countries living in Greater Western Sydney, and we've got 200,000 small to medium enterprises who may benefit from going green.
A number of projects will be run by the centre in the region, including the River Farm project involving the Hawkesbury Nepean Catchment Management Authority and local TAFE students to improve the health of the Hawkesbury River. The River Farm project is a flagship program for the RCE and will be used for environmental educational purposes.
The centre is the first for the nation's east coast and will help UWS maintain its position as a national leader in the field. The prospect of Badgerys Creek becoming the site for Sydney's second international airport is again on the table. Infrastructure New South Wales Chief, former Premier Nick Greiner, says a new airport must be built there by 2027. But Federal Infrastructure and Transport Minister Anthony Albanese has ruled out the Badgerys Creek site, which the federal government acquired in the 1990s. The federal government's preferred site is Wilton. Something has been on the nose in Erskine Park, and the area's three biggest odour emitters are now under great scrutiny to ensure smells don't travel into nearby neighbourhoods. Eastern Creek Landfill, the nearby Global Renewables Facility and CETA at Kemps Creek will have their licences varied following the release of a survey by an independent odour expert. The three sites have been ordered to implement odour reduction programs, engage an independent odour expert to review operations every month and participate in a follow-up odour study in 6 months. New South Wales Formula Ford champion Steve Charman is switching motorsport codes to join the V8 Utes category and will make his debut at the 50th Bathurst 1000 on Sunday.
I'm debuting at Bathurst at the 50th anniversary. It's a dream come true. I can't even imagine what it's going to be like. The fans just really love these Utes, you know. They come out, they support us, they hang over the fence to watch us race. I'm just really looking forward to getting out there amongst it and having some fun. The
35-year-old is a late bloomer in the motorsport scene and sees the V8 Utes competition as the ideal platform to showcase his talents and eventually become a V8 supercar driver. Having dominated the Formula Ford series, Charman knows he'll have his challenges racing in a new category, but has set himself a 3-year plan.
My goal for this year is just to get used to the car. This is my first time in a race car with a roof, and it's a lot different to the last category that I was racing. Next year I'm hoping to contend for the Rookie of the Year Championship, and in the next two to 3 years after that to be contending for the outright championship.
Charman will be in action on Saturday afternoon and Sunday morning from 8 a.m. before the V8 supercars take centre stage at Mount Panorama. Surgeons at Norwest Private Hospital have performed a life-changing operation to help double amputee Jamie Berto walk with ease one day. In a first for the hospital last week, an endoprosthesis was inserted into Mr. Berto's bone to provide anchor points for his new prosthetic legs, allowing him to attach the legs in seconds rather than the half hour it currently takes. Mr. Berto was conscious during the procedure, performed with a local anaesthetic and an epidural. West is best for Blacktown-based friends and artists Dale Bigany and Adrian Repeti, who will go head-to-head in the first semi-final round of Secret Walls next week. The 90-minute live art battle will see the creative pair, both graphic designers, treated like rock stars. No initial sketches or colours are allowed on the blank 2.4 square metre boards distributed to artists, who must work with black and white paint and markers for the competition. The battle takes place on October 10 at Darlinghurst's Oxford Art Factory. A new park will give time and space-strapped dog owners a chance to make sure their dog's active and social needs are met. The innovative Elderslie Park has an off-leash area that includes agility equipment, tunnels, a bridge, a seesaw and doggy bubblers. Part of the area is fenced off for dogs who enjoy making a break for freedom. Council Community Services Manager Lisa Campbell said the park was created following community requests. And in sport, excitement is building as the Western Sydney Wanderers kick off their maiden A-League campaign on Saturday at Parramatta Stadium. The team's players are ready for action and met with fans at Parramatta's Prince Alfred Park on Thursday. Around 200 fans joined the first team squad, including Wanderers ambassador and former Australian Idol judge Dicko Dickinson. Wanderers coach Tony Popovic gave little away about his team selection, but is looking forward to the club's historic debut. All 21 players were presented to the waiting crowd, but it was Japanese import Shinji Ono that had fans talking. The Wanderers faced the Central Coast Mariners in round 1 before a road trip to Adelaide and a round 3 blockbuster clash against Sydney FC. 17-year-old rugby league player Jarden Ford is going on a whirlwind tour of famed French sites. The Elderslie Park Cobras lock Ford has been selected to be part of the Australian Academy Rugby League squad that will play 6 matches in 17 days, visiting cities including Paris and Toulouse, before going to Barcelona in Spain and the Principality of Andorra. Ford caught selectors' eyes while playing for the Western Academy in the Harold Matthews Shield. The Marconi Stallions pulled off a major shock in the New South Wales Premier League on Monday by beating runaway premiers Bonnyrigg White Eagles 2-0. The Stallions started the game slowly but grabbed a vital goal against the run-off play just before half-time. They rode their luck at times in the second half but managed to hold on for their first championship title in 20 years.
Look, it means a lot. You know, there's just such a passionate football club. You know, it's a club that was so big in the National League for so long, and so there's just so much in this level that goes into a team, into a season. You know, I'm just delighted for the football club.
Bonnyrigg coach Brian Brown was gracious in defeat, saying he was proud of his players who were beaten by a better team on the day.
Yeah, it always hurts when you lose a final, and football's that way. One team wins, one team loses, and unfortunately today we were the loser.
And finally, it was spring racing with a difference in Dural during the school holidays as a local animal farm staged sheep and goat races. Golden Ridge Animal Farm owner and operator Alyssa Nye says the working farm's daily races give visitors an unexpected thrill and that it is probably the only venue in Sydney offering this type of spectacle. But Golden Ridge farm hands have a lot more than racing on their minds now that it's spring, with 2 sets of twin kid goats, coloured kid goats, calves, ducklings, baby rabbits and chicks among this year's births. And that's all for this week's bulletin. For more information on any of these stories, pick up your local Fairfax community newspaper. I'm Bianca Martins. We'll see you next time.